You know, when the grind gets tedious in an RPG, the hardcore enthusiasts just power through, and some find the repetition almost cathartic. What's up, everybody? Emceemur here. We're gonna dive right into something really cool right now. Straight into an in-depth look at another game coming our way from our friends at NIS America, and I want to thank NIS America for the opportunity to look at this game here on the show. Monster Menu, the Scavenger's Cookbook. A strategy RPG, not exactly a tactics RPG. A lot of elements rolled into one experience here, and it's so much more than it appears on the surface. This game is going to challenge you in so many aspects. This game deals with lots of realistic aspects that to some may be tedious, but to me are absolutely immersive and entertaining. The need to eat, the need to drink, food that expires and goes bad, enemies that get tougher after nightfall, the proverbial terrible night to have a curse, an encumbrance from a large inventory which requires constant management in the idea that this is a game where loot is king, but food ends up being just as important. For starters, you're going to delve procedurally generated floors of multiple dungeons, and besides just challenging enemies, you're going to face exhaustion, dehydration, and starvation, paired with a devastating lack of resources. As you might have guessed, a generous portion of this game, pun intended, is scavenging, preparing, and eating food. What you eat and how you prepare it plays a part in deciding how, and in what way, the food is beneficial to you. Sound fun? Well, it is. But this ain't no cooking sim on the Wii from 2008, I'm here to tell you. Some food can harm you. Some just has nagging negative effects, and that doesn't mean you won't still have to eat these things out of pure desperation. Water is in short supply as well. Trust me, it's gonna get rough. Now let's talk combat. The combat is this hybrid tactical deal, allowing you to manually walk your units into position, and when partnered with seamless transitioning in and out of encounters, you have a streamlined combat experience in which the grinding doesn't weigh down the game, a pace that doesn't drag. But combat is a strain on your calorie counts and your hydration. You know, you can devour the downed enemies off the killing floor like a lunatic if you want, but then you forego the opportunity to properly loot these enemies and cook more beneficial dishes out of them. But desperation will push you to act rashly at times. The key to successful combat is creating formations to chain attacks. The luck stat helps out here, but chained attacks are how you're going to win the long game here, especially against bosses, mini-bosses, and the like. It comes down to character loadouts too. Certain loot drops may have buffs to attack chain chances, amongst other things. And then we get into what a looter this game is. Loot-centric as they come, which I absolutely love in a game, right? But before we get into the loot system, I want to talk about character creation. You got to check this out. We have a class-based My-Off option with gorgeous character models. They really favor the ones in the Labyrinth games we reviewed right here on the show in the past. Vibrant colors, cool accessories, boob physics. This setup has it all. There's lots of details to decide on, and you can really make these characters your own. I went a little tank heavy, a little heavy on offense, which is just like me, really on brand, but I wish I had a little bit more going on in the ranged attack department looking back. You're going to level these characters and customize their performance by rounding out their setups with better loot as you go. This game works off the green, blue, purple, gold loot system, you know, the color coding. A legendary item having a slew of buffs versus just an uncommon that might only have one. Ideally, you'll find epic loot with boosts that complement your party's strengths, and ideally, you won't die. Except that you will. A good bit. You can only save your game while resting at the campsite between floors, and you gotta save, because if you get wiped out, your party goes back to level 1, and the bottom floor of your choice of dungeons from the ones you've entered. You'll want to just load your game back, right? Try again? But the problem is, I find myself in these no-win scenarios. Enemies too strong even in daylight, we're on the brink of starvation, and bottomed out in our happiness stats. Yes, that's a thing. I find I have to concede and just start anew, because it's not a complete reset. Your characters do get to keep their loot, which means you can have another shot at more swiftly completing the dungeon floors and leveling up and hopefully having nourished characters and enough food left to advance further than in previous attempts. And if only one character is defeated, they can potentially be revived at randomly inserted altars of worship across the dungeonscape. Altars offer a choice of 3 different buffs or curses they inflict in exchange for shards, a currency earned from combat. You know, when the grind gets tedious in an RPG, the hardcore enthusiasts just power through, and some find the repetition almost cathartic. But I'm afraid many won't enjoy this game as much as I am currently. I mean, the loot and the randomness keeps me coming back, but that's just me. The game leans in hard on the difficulty settings, the biggest variable on those being enemy strength and energy consumption. I'm on normal mode like I start on with any new game, and I found myself 20 hours in, really teetering on the edge of switching to easy. Not that there's anything wrong with that, I just like to play on normal. I feel as a veteran RPG player, that's where I should be from a difficulty standpoint. Despite the flow of the game and the streamlined pace, the advancement feels like 2 steps forward and then 1.5 steps back. There are 4 difficulty modes in all, the 4th being a nightmare mode. Seems crazy to even include that. I mean, I'm just mentally doing the math. I don't see anyone making it out of the first dungeon even on that mode. But I'm still on normal for now. I'm hoping the difficulty will make me learn more of the game through tough love. I don't want the game to hold my hand, nor should anyone expect that, but I gotta say the tutorial, it walks you right up to the door, drops you off, and then it bolts. There's nothing additional being explained here. You know, what things are or what could and should be done with those things. No one likes a long, boring tutorial, but in this instance, I feel they really went too light on it. There's not enough explanation of the systems and the way things work in the game, or even what I'm doing at certain points. But regardless of what still remains a mystery here, I've been glued to this game. I've advanced into strange realms, then died, only to hit back to my save file and then have it take me somewhere entirely different through the same exit. I can't explain what it's doing. I found flat levels with a frightening horde of enemies that all but guarantee my demise, but ironically plenty to eat. The multi-level 3-dimensional floors really make exploration juicier. You delve 10 floors in a region, and then you're going to face a challenging boss fight at the end that will require use of tactics, clever use mind you, and the appropriate skill usage. Overall, as a role-playing experience, this is a nicely fleshed out dungeon crawler, but it is weak in one area: story. There is a storyline here. The characters are in a dungeon, and they need to get out. There's some text in between levels, but if you want a deep, engaging story with politics, romance, and intrigue, yeah, that's not here. And to be fair, I don't really expect it in this type of game. But for some, a game lacking in deep storytelling, I don't know, it may be a deal breaker. And I don't love the repair system for equipment wearing down. You have to craft repair kits in quantity and then just blindly apply them to all the damaged equipment in your inventory. You may end up repairing trash you meant to discard instead of your currently equipped gear. The overall repair appears to be an averaged value awarded from the number of repair kits used. A manual repair option would be the default in any game where item wear is a factor, and instead this adds an incoherent layer of unneeded difficulty. The equipment becomes less effective the more it breaks down, but the system does throw you a bone in that the items don't seem to disappear from your inventory when they're broken, like some games that have become infamous for that sort of thing. You just have to camp and make your repairs. Overall, I like this. I'm having fun with this. I'm losing hours of my life. It checks a lot of neat boxes, man, and I think I've shown you enough here for you to be able to make an informed decision on whether or not this game is for you. As usual, the game retails for only $49.99 and it's out right now. It's launch week, baby! And that gets you the deluxe edition for your Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, or the PS5. It includes a mini art book and, of course, a digital soundtrack. Also available on the NIS Store site is the limited edition, which contains the Survival of the Fullest art book, the Chef's Select 2-disc soundtrack, the Avid Adventurous Eater apron, I mean, who doesn't need a good apron, right? Spice it up, salt and pepper shakers, and greetings from the Dungeon Diners art cards. In a fabulous big box, this retails for $89 and is a fabulous value for as many goodies as you're getting. I'll include a link in the description for you to order yours right now. Monster Menu, the Scavenger's Cookbook. In some ways, it was exactly what I was expecting, which is good. But it does some cool stuff I didn't expect, and I gotta admit, the gameplay, it's got its hooks in me. So there you have it, Monster Menu. I'm digging what I see so far, right? There's a learning curve here. I gotta spend more time with it, but I'm having fun, right? That's the main thing you gotta look at. I think anybody that's into RPGs, I know a lot of you that watch this show are, I think you're gonna get into this, and it's priced accordingly, comes with some great stuff. Again, I want to thank NIS America once again for giving us an opportunity to take a look at a fantabulous new game right here on the show. If you like this review, hope you're going to drop a like on this video. Hope you're going to subscribe to the Emceemur Show and stay tuned for more action. Have you played this game? Are you planning on getting this game? What did you think of what you saw here? Leave me something in the comment section below, because you know that I love getting a conversation going with you right here on the Emceemur Show, something that we do a lot of. And if you're not done enjoying fabulous RPG action yet, I'm going to put a link right here to another fantabulous game we reviewed right here on the show that you may not have seen yet. Emceemur signing off for this fantabulous review. I feel like I'm saying fantabulous a lot. And we'll see each and every one of you again on the next one.